is. But we have been told that if we do business with Venezuela, that we'll be sanctioned too. Well, I've said to my colleagues within the region that we should approach the Venezuelan government and to ask them to assist us. And I'll say here that if Venezuela sends us a shipment of petrol, we'll take it. Because people are suffering. And you can't tell me that the United States can have a carve-out for countries in Europe that are not as vulnerable. So Venezuela can send them products in order to wipe off a debt. But here in the Caribbean, where people are suffering, we can't buy products from Venezuela? I mean, come on, man. I mean, there's just something fundamentally wrong with American policies towards Cuba and Venezuela. And they're not only hurting Cuba and Venezuela, they're hurting others within the region. Because Antigua and Barbuda, we're hurting today because potentially we could get products from Venezuela with some form of on concessional terms. But they're precluding us and literally violating our own sovereignty to decide with whom we want to trade. That is not for the United States to determine, and might is not right. So I would have held some very frank discussions with President Biden. I know that he was not particularly pleased. And as I said to him, I know he's not the president of the Caribbean, which was one of his remarks to me. But he's president of the free world, and he must make sure that people all over, especially in this hemisphere, live. And the United States should not be sustaining any form of sanctions that will hurt innocent people. Let the people decide. Ultimately, people are not stupid. If a regime is repressive, no matter how long it is, the people get rid of them. Let the people make their own decision. So enough of that little geopolitics, but I'm saying that to say that we're not pleased with U.S. policies towards Venezuela and Cuba. And Antigua and Barbuda will continue to speak openly about those issues. And we're not saying this with any hostility to the United States. I mean, the United States is a very important partner for Antigua and Barbuda. Most of our tourists come from the United States. In fact, I'll go as far as stating that the United States is the most important relationship for Antigua and Barbuda because of the trade between the two countries. 80% of what we consume comes from the United States. But we have other important relationships, and we should be able to pursue those relationships without hinder. Our relationship with China should not be a problem for the United States. If they want to have a problem with China, that's their problem. But their enemies are not our enemies. We're friends of all. And I just hope that within this hemisphere, especially within CARICOM, that we can come together as a region and to be a little more strident in our opposition to these oppressive policies in which people in this hemisphere are literally suffering. I mean, it is fundamentally wrong. Now, colleagues, I want to just wrap up this brief statement by, again, stating here how happy we are with the relationship and that Venezuela would have made a positive impact on the lives of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And as a gesture of the friendship, we want to present a gift to the government and people of Venezuela. So I'll ask the distinguished Ambassador, Carmen Velasquez, to accept this gift. And this is to demonstrate some level of permanency. In other words, what we're doing here, we're literally gifting to the government and people of Venezuela 2 acres of land located at Embassy Drive. We already have the Chinese embassy located there. We would have gifted them 5 acres of land, and they have constructed a very beautiful marquee embassy facility there. And we're doing likewise for Venezuela. I believe we also made a contribution of a parcel of land as well to the Dominican Republic. And it tells you that we hold the friendship with these countries in high esteem. By the way, we don't want the British representative to get jealous. You can get an acre too. But in any case, on behalf of the government and people of Antigua and Barbuda, I'd like to present this land certificate of 2 acres of land to the government and people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela for the purpose of constructing an embassy and residences. Thank you.
Bien.
Okay. Yeah.
Dear Prime Minister, receive this flag on behalf of the people, government, the embassy, Venezuela in recognition of the friendship relation. 40 years in commemoration of 40 years of establishment of diplomatic relations between the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and Antigua and Barbuda. The government of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is celebrating this moment occasion, present this plaque to the government of Antigua and Barbuda and reiterate our respect, brotherhood, and solidarity within the framework of the diplomacy of peace. PM.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gaston Browne, for very informative, very passionate